Another great scene in Arcane Season 1 to study character objectives is the final scene in Episode 6. It reveals a major turning point in the central relationship in the season with two important characters. It's also another act break in the 9 episode first season. Per usual, this is a disclaimer that there will be spoilers about the story, so I recommend watching Arcane Season 1 before proceeding further. The final scene in episode 6 showcases the reunion between the sisters Vi and Jinx, moments after Jinx lights and tosses a flare from a tower structure. So if we want to explore the character objectives in the scene, I'm referencing Judith Weston's directing actors once again, as it's a helpful resource to dig deeper into what makes scenes work. For Weston, character objectives can be explained as what one character wants to get from the other character in the scene. If the actor thinks of a playable action as a proactive verb, then this can translate well on screen because the actor is leaning into that action to direct choices made from one story beat to the next. For example, character A wants to get something from character B. Meanwhile, character B wants to get something from character A. As a possible scenario, maybe character A is trying to cajole or to humor character B in order to get character B to loosen up and reveal some personal information that character A needs. Other things that ground character objectives are what Judith Weston calls the as-if or metaphor. The actor may choose to play the action as if he was talking to a grumpy cat, so having that mental image in one's mind adds a texture to the performance. Also, knowing the subtext of the character's objective and playable action adds more dimensions. I often ask what is really going on here underneath the surface as one character pursues an objective with another character. So with all these elements in mind, we can look at the final scene in episode 6 and ask ourselves, what does Vi want to get from Jinx? And what does Jinx want to get from Vi? Let's look at some of the story beats. When Vi and Jinx see each other for the first time, Vi rushes to a stunned Jinx and embraces her. As a playable action, Vi apologizes to Jinx. Another action verb could be confessing. Vi is trying to make up for lost time. For the as-if or the metaphor, Vi is covering her tracks, as if she's pleading to a judge or a jury. She's trying to absolve herself from blame by telling Jinx that she tried to come back and get Jinx, but she was arrested. So it seems at this story beat, Vi has a character objective that could be trying to get Jinx to accept her apology. Meanwhile, Jinx reacts to Vi's apology by questioning. She asks out loud if Vi is real, standing there in front of her. So Jinx's character objective at the story beat could be to get Vi to prove that she's real. I think Jinx is also trying to get Vi to prove that she truly loves her. While Vi openly embraces her sister, Jinx's body language is more restrained and standoffish. In the wide shot with both sisters in profile, Jinx is holding back. The as-if or metaphor for Jinx's playable action here could be she's questioning Vi as if she were in a dream or in a hallucination. This sets an emotional grounding for her to express doubt toward Vi. This part of the scene turns when Vi reaffirms that she's real and that she's here for Jinx. In response, Jinx softens and sobs, saying that things changed when you left. I changed. So Jinx is changing her playable action here to something like confessing. She's suddenly becoming more open to reconnecting with her older sister. Vi also changes her playable action or verb here to affirming and identifying with. She tells Jinx that, I know, Pow Pow, I know. You did what you had to do to survive. Me too, it's okay. In terms of subtext, she's telling Jinx that I see the pain you went through, and I went through it too. I even thought that Vi's as-if or metaphor here could be like a mother comforting her distressed child. This adds a layer of texture to the performance that feels real and vibrant. The scene takes a dramatic turn when Caitlyn arrives, interrupting the reunion. Two things happen at the same time here when Caitlyn and Jinx see each other. First, Jinx realizes that Savika told her the truth that Vi is allied with an enforcer, like Caitlyn. Second, Caitlyn recognizes that the sister Vi talked about is the notorious Jinx, who has been labeled as a terrorist. So because the scene shifts here with a third character entering, the character objectives for Vi and Jinx have to change with the new dynamics. Vi's objective is to get Jinx and Caitlyn to calm down in order to prevent a fight. Meanwhile, Jinx's objective changes to trying to get Vi to accept her new identity as Jinx. When she tells Vi, it's Jinx now, powder fell down a well. And then Jinx shifts to accusing Vi, asking her if she came back for the blue stone. She accuses and mocks Vi in order to get what she believes will be a true confession from her sister. It's interesting to note here that a character like Jinx can pursue an objective that is inherently false, but that which she believes may be true. This increases the conflict and tension in the scene when one character is misinterpreting the intentions of the other. At this point in the scene, subtext-wise, I think we're seeing Jinx struggling with how to navigate the changing dynamics of her relationship with Vi. Even in the moments when the camera cuts to a close-up of Jinx, and she mocks Vi with, "You're a class act sister, thought I missed her, bet you wouldn't miss her," I think Jinx is processing real time and trying to figure out how to gain control of herself in the situation. That last part of her line, "bet you wouldn't miss her," has an edge that almost feels like a dig or an insult to Vi, calling back to how Vi abandoned Jinx back at the end of episode 3. The line could also be an example of what Judith Weston calls mysterious lines. If we keep asking questions about it and dig deeper with questions, that might lead to as-ifs or metaphors that are the opposite reading of the line, and that can be interesting. When Vi claims, "I'm not going to abandon you again," and touches Jinx's arm, Vi's objective is to calm down Jinx, but also to get Jinx to accept her claim. But the trauma of separation is so much that Jinx struggles to respond right away. She never gets the chance to fully process and respond to Vi since a crew of firelights arrive, and a fight breaks out between all the characters. As the fight progresses, one of the things happening at a subtext level is Vi realizing that her sister Jinx has become a vicious fighter. Vi sees a completely different person in Jinx compared to Powder, and she moves to stop her sister from killing the firelights, but Vi is knocked out and captured by the firelights, leaving Jinx alone. Looking at the scene again, it reaffirms Jinx's sense of abandonment and drives a further wedge in her relationship with Vi. It makes reconciliation between them increasingly impossible. The last shot of the scene is Jinx all alone calling out her sister's name and then screaming out "no" as we cut to the credits. So in this final scene in episode 6, there are several dynamic shifts and turns that created changes in the character objectives for Vi and Jinx. These changes reflect the real changes that both sisters have experienced since their last meeting years ago, and it's the clash of these changes that make the scene engaging and meaningful. I think about our own personal experiences when we reunite with someone we knew years ago. It can be difficult to find common ground again or know how to relate to one another, especially when there's traumatic pain that caused the separation. Without real healing, those gaps can continue to drive a deeper wedge in broken relationships, as we see in this final scene in episode 6 of Arcane Season 1.